There have been a lot of AI-generated images used to fake history lately, so I'm going to go through as many as I can find on the Twitter hell site. Okay, so this is an image of a giant horse, but like me during art class, AI is awful at drawing hands. So much for photography. Seriously, this look like alien hands. This picture always gets passed around as evidence of Black Samurai. Yes, we do know that Yasuke existed in the service of Nobunaga. This statue is actually an artistic representation of the man. However, saying that it was a common occurrence is unfounded nonsense, that being a black samurai. There's also that samurai also wore their swords on the left hip, no matter how many they carried. The wakizashi would always be worn with the katana. This was standard throughout Japan. Why? Because if two samurai were walking past each other and they were each wearing it on opposite hips, they could actually clash with their swords and, well, damage them while they were in their scabbards. And of course, you'd know this would end up with a fight. Likewise, this image fails because the sword is in the wrong position. The blade is facing down, not up. Come on, people. Really? You would think the sheer volume of anime and manga that does this correctly would at least mean the AI generator had enough references to get this right, but apparently that's too much of an expectation for the AI generators. I thought I saw this image before the AI generation craze, and it turns out it does date to before the AI generation craze. It's actually a photograph. This, however, has been used as a cudgel by people on Twitter to say that black people were the original Asians and that they were somehow preserved in Tibet. Except that's not the case. They argue that the hair is proof of them being black people, when in reality, this is just a bunch of Tibetan nuns with wigs made out of yak hides. You shave your head as a nun in Tibet, so of course you would have to wear something made out of yak hides to keep your head warm. This one is supposedly a family portrait in 1904. Yeah, look at the hand on the shoulder, but if you didn't notice that, perhaps you noticed that the dog may actually have an extra limb. Another one from Facebook. This is supposedly a one-room schoolhouse in Texas in the early 1900s, except it really isn't. You see this girl's disembodied arm on top of her desk slash the back of the guy's chair in front of her. And of course you see this leg that merges into the wooden desk. This is some prime horror material right here. Fashion is also oddly modern, but I'm not an expert on fashion, so I can't tell you anything about that. So, what's the moral of this episode? Don't believe anything you see on the internet. AI generated images are getting harder and harder to detect as it gets more and more advanced. We're all going to be really paranoid, especially when it comes to election seasons where people are using AI to generate attacks on their enemies? Yes. Perhaps we are all big stinky idiots and we're all doomed. Please consider liking, subscribing, tipping the channel on Ko-fi. This is Cyril signing off.